Hello fans, and welcome to another One Piece video. One Piece Chapter 1107 features the arrival of the Great Giant Warriors, led by Dorry and Broggy. Zoro fight with Lucci, as well as Sanji clash with Admiral Kizaru. The chapter is titled, I've Been Looking for You. The scene began as the Giant Warrior Pirates surfaces, led by co-captains Dorry and Broggy. Broggy called out Omoi and Kashi, one of the Giant Warrior commanders. Dorry instructed them to sink every Navy ship on sight, being mindful of the Navy's cannon fire. On receiving instructions, Omoi and Kashi jumped out from their ship with pride and joy, inspiring other crew members to enforce their captain orders. With ramping fear, the Navy command gave status reports, declaring that the Giant Warriors have landed on Egghead shores. Countless members of their old crew have also been spotted. We have confirmed sighting of Broggy the Red Ogre and Dorry the Blue Ogre. The Navy command were baffled with questions as to where have the Giants been all these years, and what do they want? Although they were contemplating with many questions, nevertheless, they issued an order to all Navy battleships saying, blast the Giant Warrior Pirates into smithereens. Meanwhile, the Ruckus on the island shores made the Straw Hats to pick curiosity, gazing from afar at the back entrance of the Labo Stratum. God Usopp took a camera to observe the island shore, but he was amazed as he sighted Dorry and Broggy walking on the island towards its center where Luffy is fighting. Usopp, in surprise, burst into tears of joy as he was baffled with questions saying, "What are they doing on Egghead?" Without hesitation, he called out their names. Nami was also happy on sighting Omoi and Kashi. She declared that those two may have went to Little Garden to pick up their captains. Chopper was happy as Pythagoras kept on staring at the Giants, being filled with relief. Usopp spoke out that he was worried with thoughts of not seeing his masters in Elbaf. Meanwhile, a flashback to refresh the viewer's mind was displayed, revealing that, a long time ago, the world was terrorized by a particular Giant Warriors pirates, which was led by co-captains Dorry and Broggy. One day, they disbanded their crew due to quarrels, and fought each other on Little Garden for 100 years. Later on, Luffy and his gangs helped them reconcile, but while storming on a different island, they encounter Omoi and Kashi, a pair of giants whom they befriended and inspired to check on their captains. As the flashback ends, Pythagoras was shocked as he saw the giants dominating all marines ashore. With surprise, he was happy that the Straw Hats are friends with the giants. He declared that the giants must have come on hearing the news. Usopp replied Pythagoras saying, "How is it possible?" Pythagoras answered that the Navy marshaled a lot of manpower for Egghead's destruction, so it ought to have made its way to the latest trending news in the papers industry, putting the Marines on good spotlight. Nami shocked, she replied that, "So this is already a big news. I guess that makes sense for the Giants to be here." Usopp declared that the Giant Pirates didn't come to Egghead to wage war, but to help them escape from the island alive. He then charged the Straw Hats that they need to finish their preparation quickly. With this, Nami called Brook using her transponder, asking them of their location. On receiving the call, Brook replied that they're very close, but there won't be enough time to stop for a tea. Vegapunk Lilith furiously took over the phone calling Brook a numbskull, as she declares that they need to stop the ship now, or they will be fried by the laser fence. Surrounding Labo Stratum, she then proposed a plan to Nami. Meanwhile, Jinbei dashing out to retrieve Zoro, sensed that the fight has gone intense with both parties fired up. Jinbei declared that this isn't the time to be picking fights. We need to leave this island at a moment of notice. The clash furiously continues as Zoro and Lucci fought to a standstill, with both of them getting tired. Zoro declared that it's time to wrap this up, but Lucci replied with confidence that only the winner gets to talk like that. At this moment, you're only a burden to your crew. Those fools will never make it out if they can't cut the arm to save the body. Giving up now would be doing them a favor. Waiting for a corpse is pointless after all. Losing patience to anger, Zoro furiously replied Lucci that he talks like one who have control over the fight. The scene shifted to the Pacifistas as their raging war against Navy ships continues. Vice Admiral Red King received damage reports that the Pacifistas have sunk roughly 30 small to medium-type Navy ships. With this report, the Vice Admiral quickly charged Navy captains to withdraw all smaller vessels and take the lead with battleships. The captains acted on the orders and gradually, they began to gain the upper hand. blasting any Pacifistas in range of attack to smithereens. This made Vice Admiral Red King furious as he declares that, "To think we Marines have to fire our own weapons, it's a pitiful sight." As the chapter gradually comes to an end, Luffy was seen jumping from a building with joy in his Nikish form, calling out for Bonney. Luffy asked Bonney why she was crying, but Bonney replied with tears of joy that, "Why wouldn't I be crying? Have been looking for you all this time." Luffy replied that he has been here the whole time. Bonney answered Luffy, "Sure, but I didn't know you're Nika." Luffy, being alarmed by the word, answered, "Nika. What's that?" Anyways, Luffy continued to ask Bonney about her flimsy punch from earlier. Bonney replied that if it's flimsy, then teach me how's done. Give that old windbag a good punch for Vegapunk, then we can get out of here. Luffy observed the ground looking for Vegapunk. With intense shock, he saw him badly hurt. Saturn, observing with a stern look, exclaimed that, "None of you filthy cockroaches have the rights to live now." But Luffy replied that he's wrong, and decided to enforce Bonney's plan. Luffy, assuming battle position to beat the hell out of Saturn, said to Bonney for the record, "This is how you punch." As he was swinging his fist rapidly, Saturn cast his power of deadly sight on Luffy, damaging him from the inside. But Luffy declared that Saturn is gonna pay for hurting his friends. With a big bang, Luffy launches a terrifying punch at Saturn's face, called Gumu no Gatling. Being unable to withstand the attack, Saturn was sent flying and bleeding all over. This shocked Bonney, Humor, and Vegapunk as they were relieved from worrying. Frankie asked Bonney to walk so that they can get out of the island. Atlas told Vegapunk that the hover function is still working, so we should be able to float in air. "Let's go, Vegapunk." But Vegapunk replied that he has been a doctor for years. "If I move now, I'll surely die." This shocked them all. Kizaru appeared out of nowhere with speed of light in an attempt to kill Vegapunk. He declares that, "You'll be dead either ways, this is it." He fires the laser, but this was intercepted by Sanji, who quickly deflected the attack by kicking the fucking laser. Kizaru was surprisingly shocked, Frankie terrified, saying that, "Dude, that's a freaking laser." Sanji exclaimed that light doesn't hold a candle to love. Kizaru, filled with chills, replied, "If that's true, then they'll have to scrap all physics books and start from scratch." With opportunity granted, Atlas and Frankie dashed out for Northeast Port with Humor and Bonney on their backs, leaving behind Vegapunk. Kizaru, realizing that he's in a mess, declares that he can't go back to Navy headquarters empty-handed. They will at least expect him to bring back straw hats and Vegapunk heads. But Sanji replied him saying, "Then you better start drafting an apology letter for them." This made Luffy to laugh hard. Meanwhile, Saturn struggled out of the crumble he fell into, fully healed. But he was not alone, as he was visited by Van Augur and Katrina Devon, 3rd and 6th ship captains of the Blackbeard Pirates. Katrina declares that it's not every day they get to see one of the 5 elders in Dirts, or in surface, blessing us all with their presence. She curiously asked, "What delicious power do you have anyways? You have made our job a whole lot easier." She tapped the knob of a relic and declares that the mission is complete. Grosei Saturn asked her, "What business do you have here, and why are you an escapee from level 6 impelled down, doing as a subordinate of Blackbeard?" She replied, "Teach is special," Saturn declares. "So is his lineage?" Katrina exclaimed. "So you know about that?" Saturn replied. "Your crew is always up to something. What do you hope to get out of all these stunts?" She replied, "The world." Immediately, Saturn dashed his foot to kill them. But Van Augur detected it and used his Rap Fruit ability to teleport to another location. Saturn was shocked as the building behind him was about to crash down. On the other location, Van Augur told Katrina that they should leave the island, but Katrina replied that, "Can't you teleport us further?" Van Augur exclaimed that he hasn't mastered the fruit powers yet. Finally, Caribou came out of nowhere asking Katrina and Van Augur to take him with them. He exclaimed that Commodore Blackbeard is his hero and he wants to sail with him as his lackey. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Until next time.